ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we are seeing Lord Brahma starts to explain the whole history about how this darkness has come about by the pregnancy of Diti. So how she was having these two demoniac personalities in the womb, the history of that will now be narrated by Brahmaji. So he is talking to the Devatas, to the demigods, explaining about that historical fact. So he is saying that previous to all of you, Purvajaha, previous to you were born, Manasa me Suta Yushmat. Through my mind, 4 sons were born: Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana and Sanat Kumara. And what do they do? Cherur vihayasa lokan lokeshu vigatas prahaha. Vigatas prahaha means having no desires. Even though they are situated in Brahman, and the person situated in Brahman has no material desires, but still sometimes without any desire they just travel to Lochan, to material world, to material planets, to spiritual planets. So like this they were traveling once. So he is explaining about their history. So Prabhupada explains that when we say here desire, we should understand it is called material desire for sense gratification. Otherwise, even in spiritual life there are desires. Prabhupada is saying here, sometimes they travel all over universe out of their own accord to preach devotional service. Saintly persons like Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan and Sanat Kumara have no material desires. They have no material desires. But still, they travel to different lokas out of their own accord and they preach Krishna consciousness. So that means they still have spiritual desires. So this is a very important understanding in Krishna consciousness, which explains the real constitutional position of living entity. The living entity, like the Supreme Lord, are conscious. We see in Upanishads it is described, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko va bahudati vidadhati kaman. So there it is very clearly described, we are eternal, the Supreme Lord is also eternal. Nityo Nityanam Chetanaha Chetananam. We are conscious and the Supreme Lord is also conscious. And whatever different desires we have, all those desires are supplied by the Lord. He fulfills our desires. So actually we can see that living entity means desires will be there. Consciousness means there will be desires. Difference is spiritual desires are our constitutional position. In that spiritual desires, we serve the Supreme Lord in varieties of relationship. The same desires, when it is material, the same material desires entangle the living entities. So desires are there. The example is given in the Vedic literatures, in Chaitanya Charitamrita specifically, that the same desires, when they are meant for satisfaction of Krishna, that is called prema, and the desires which are meant for satisfaction of our own sense gratification, that is called kama. So prema and kama differ in quality, otherwise it is same desires. When we desire to please ourselves, our sense gratification, it is called kama. When we desire to please the Supreme Lord, it is called prema. So, definition of bhakti itself is very beautifully described by Rupa Goswami. It's a very scientific definition of bhakti is given by Rupa Goswami. Anyone remembers what is the definition? Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. What is uttamam bhakti? So first of all he describes bhakti has nothing to do with material activities. Udgata tama. Tama means material or ignorance or darkness. Udgata tama means which is above. So uttama bhakti means which is transcendental devotional service. What is it? So Rupa Goswami says it is a cultivation, anushilanam. That devotional service has to be cultivated. Just like what does the farmer do? Farmer cultivates his crop, his field, and then he waters it, and then it produces some fruits. Similarly, the devotional service has to be cultivated. And cultivation means what? Activities will be there. So, it's a very scientific definition. Why? Because there may be people you will find, when we approach people, you will find many people will say, Swami ji, bhakti mere man mein hai. Mandir aane ki kya zarurat hai? Kirtan bhajan karne ki kya zarurat hai? Why is it required? I have to visit the temple, I have to, ring the bell in the temple, I have to sing some aartis, kirtan. Bhakti man mein hai na? My bhakti is there in my man, in my heart. So Rupa Goswami is very clear. No, this is not called bhakti. Bhakti is our loving reciprocation with the Lord. If I say, I love my wife or I love my children, it is not just in the heart. अगर मैं घर में जाकर के बोलूं कि भाई आज मैरिज एनिवर्सरी है, मेरा प्यार बस मेरे मन के अंदर में है, बस इसी में संतुष्ट हो जाऊं. That is not the expression. When we have our child's birthday, when we have marriage anniversary day, we celebrate it with some activities. That is how we show our love. Isn't it? So Rupa Goswami makes it very clear. Don't think bhakti means only in the heart. It is there in the heart also. But it becomes manifested in activities. Anushilanam means it is activities. It is filled with activities. So first he differentiates that bhakti is not some silent meditation. Bhakti is not something in the heart. Bhakti is there in the heart and it becomes manifested in our activities. So, anukulyena So Anushilanam. Anushilanam means Shilanam means it is cultivated. And how it is cultivated? So are these activities any way we want? Whatever activities we can do, in whatever way we want, we can express our love to God. My dear God, be pleased with me, let me offer beer to you. Be pleased with me, let me offer beef to you. Somebody may think it is activity, it is expression of love. In whatever way I want, I can express my love. Reduce the sound, why so much? So one may think that expression of love, it can be in any way. Actually, that is not the idea. If I love someone, I must know what pleases him or what pleases her. Correct? Suppose, let us say for example, I want to bring a gift on wedding anniversary. The gift should be what pleases to the wife. Or when the wife brings something, it should be what pleases to the husband. When we bring some gift to the children, we want to express our love for them is what pleases them. Right? So, Anushilanam means it is activities are done following in the footsteps of great devotees who know how to please the Lord. These activities are not whimsical activities. Let me please the Lord in whatever way I want. No, Krishna is saying how to please Him. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Krishna is explaining what will please me. You offer me tulsi leaf, you offer me some fruits, you offer me some flower, and if you feel you are not very rich, you cannot arrange for some big feast, bhoga, okay, at least you offer one tulsi leaf, offer some water. Anybody can get this. Yo me bhakta prayachati tad aham ashnami. Krishna says, I accept all those gifts. Why? Because they are all offered with bhaktaya. They are all offered with devotion to me. So, activities are there, but activities are following in the footsteps of great personalities in how to please the Lord. As the path shown by the great personality. It's called Anushilanam. Activities done following in the footsteps of great personalities, not whimsical activities. And then you can see how beautifully Rupa Goswami has, one by one, the definition is in such a beautiful way, no obscure meaning can be screwed out of it. Then somebody may say, okay, just like in today's conversation also we were reading, Dr. Patel is taking the part of demigod worshippers. And he's saying that anyway, the demigod worship, that worship is also going to God. Isn't it? So they are also called bhaktas. Ye anya bhakta. Krishna is saying, ye anya deva bhakta. So somebody may think that yes, so bhakti can be, I can be a great devotee of Kali and I can be called as a great bhakta. I can be great devotee of Durga. I can be great devotee of Ganapati. I can be great devotee of Shiva. I can be a great devotee of Mother India. Desh Bhakta. So all these things we may think that is all called bhakti. Correct? So that also is very nicely described. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukullena krishnanushilanam. Krishnanushilanam, not Devatanushilanam. These activities which are done by following the great personality, Anushilanam, to whom they are directed. Krishnanushilanam. these activities have to be directed towards Lord Krishna, not to some devata, not to my family, not to my country, and think then that is called as bhakti. See how Rupa Goswami has very beautifully described what is bhakti and what is not bhakti. So Desh Bhakti is not bhakti. Pitra Bhakti is not bhakti. Devata Bhakti is not bhakti. That is not considered to be pure devotional service. It should be Krishnanushilanam. It should be directed towards pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And what should be the quality? What should be the quality of those activities? Because I may be doing activities to please Krishna, but in that, if I am expecting some results from Krishna, my dear Lord, I am offering you some tulsi leaves, I am offering you water, I am offering you some bhoga, but in return I am expecting something, then Rupa Goswami says that is not pure devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Abhilasha is there. Rupa Goswami is not saying all abhilasha shunyam. You see, this is very important. He is not saying sarva abhilasha shunyam. He could have said, what is bhakti is sarva abhilasha shunyam, all desires zero. He is not saying. Anya abhilashita shunyam. All other desires, other than satisfying the Lord, they should become zero. And then he defines, what are those desires? Then we may wonder, okay, how to identify those desires? Jnana karmadi anavritam, specifically the desire for fruitive results. Jnana karmadi and jnana. That means liberation from this world, merging in the Supreme Lord. These are all desires from jnana and karma. These things have to be made zero. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. And then he also explains, just like in today's conversation Prabhupada was saying, that even though Kamsa was thinking 24 hours about Krishna, he cannot be called bhakta. Because then somebody may think, okay, I have to think about Krishna, so then let me become inimical to Krishna, and then I can think about Krishna. Correct? But that is not called bhakti. Maximum what he will attain is liberation. Anyone who is killed by the Lord because of his inimical behavior like Kamsa, Shishupal, they will get this impersonal liberation. But they will not get the position of devotional reciprocation with the Lord. That they will not get. So their position can never be equal to bhakta. So that is not called devotional service. He will get some mukti, that's all. So he says, anukulyena means it should be favorably rendered. So now can somebody summarize? What are the characteristics of pure devotional service? Yes, Maharishi? First is Shilanam. It has to be activities. It is not some dry thinking. It's not some meditation. It is cultivation. Cultivation means there are activities. What kind of activities? What kind of activities? Following in the footsteps of Anushilanam means activities following in the footsteps of great acharyas, great devotees. Then activities directed towards whom? Krishna. Not towards anybody, and we think that those activities can be considered bhakti. Krishnanushilanam. Then what is he saying? Favorable. Anukulyena. Favorable. Then what else is the characteristic? free from the material desires like jnana and karma. And it defines that it is not free from all desires, free from desires which are not meant for serving the Lord. Anya abhilashita shunya. So we can see how Rupa Goswami has beautifully described what is devotional service. In just 2 sentences, he gives the epitome of what is pure devotional service. That is the beauty of description, that how scientific Krishna consciousness is. So, Prabhupada is explaining here, when we speak of desire, we refer to desires for material sense gratification. Those have to be weeded out. And even in devotional service, even though when we perform devotional service, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, our material desires are getting weeded out, no doubt about it. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, if we are not attentive and cautious to introspect and see and identify our desires, material desires, and segregate them, then the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, hearing of the holy name of the Lord, will feed our material desires. And the result will be not anartha nivrati, the result will be more material subtle desires. See? That is explained very beautifully in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sekha jala pana upashakha badhi aya, sthabda hana moola shakha badi tena paya. See? This is important. If one does not distinguish between bhakti creeper and other creeper, so that means what is our work there? We have to distinguish. Our work is there. We may not have the power to weed out our anarthas. That will be done by chanting the holy name. What is our work? We have to distinguish that, my dear Lord, this is material desire. I want to get rid of this desire. That is what Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying. We should be able to distinguish what is material desire, what is spiritual desire. And then plead to the Lord that, yes, I recognize these are my anarthas. My dear Lord, I want to get rid of all these anarthas. Otherwise, if we don't recognize, what will happen? Whatever sadhana bhakti we are doing, bhajana kriya we are doing, the jala of bhajana kriya will feed our weeds. This is how Prabhupada translates. Prabhupada is saying, if one does not distinguish between bhakti creeper and other creepers, sprinkling of water is misused, because other creepers are nourished while bhakti creeper is curtailed. So it's very clear. Other creepers will become nourished, the water will become misused. Our chanting, whatever we are doing, it will be misused if we don't identify our weed creepers. The same sprinkling of the water will go to feed, and then what all will come out, that also is explained very nicely by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, what are those weeds? Nishiddhachar, Kutinathi, Jivahimsa, Labha, Puja, Pratishtha, Yatha Upashakha Gana. These are all varieties of Upashakha, weeds which will become nourished more and more. And that's how you find, sometimes after many years of devotional service, we find devotees get caught up in name, fame, position, labha. I am 20 years in devotional service, isn't it? Why nobody is respecting me? I want to be, I want special. All those things, different kinds of things will come. We are seeing that in, all these gurus who are, it's all because of these upashakha, labha, puja, pratishtha. Very difficult to give them up. Isn't it? So many disciples are there worshipping somebody as good as God. So that is called puja, adoration. Very difficult to give them up. So we have to distinguish between desires which are meant for satisfying Krishna and desires which are meant for our pleasure. If we don't distinguish these desires, then actually whatever we are doing will only feed our more and more anarthas. Even in serving, sometimes we do some services. Let us say you have some service of collection, life membership you are going, and sometimes we have fruitive desires in that also. When Lakshmi points are announced, then we are looking, okay, my name is being announced and everybody is seeing how much I have collected, isn't it? So gradually, of course in the beginning it may be difficult, but gradually these should not be our inspiration for collection. Some kind of, distinction between the devotees, some kind of getting attentions of others. This should not be our motive for devotional service. Even getting praise, getting patting by authorities. Oh, very good, good collection. That should not be our motive for doing more and more service. Our motive should be to please Krishna more and more. That should be our motive. One devotee was telling in Prabhupada's time that when Prabhupada was to arrive in America, in New Vrindavan temple, so one devotee was assigned the service, and Prabhupada was to stay back for Janmashtami festival in New Vrindavan. And then suddenly they saw that the room in which Prabhupada is staying, the toilet is not working properly. And Prabhupada was to arrive on that day. So this bhakta was given this work of repairing that. And he was not a carpenter, or he was not some kind of plumber like that. But somehow then he was trying to get it repaired. The water was not flushing properly in that. So whole night he tried, whole night he woke up, he did not sleep. And early in the morning, finally he got it, and he was little proud. He was feeling pride that finally I did it for my spiritual master. Prabhupada came back, and then he stayed in the room. But then he went to the fields. He never went to the toilet at all. He never used the toilet at all. And his whole ego was completely smashed. That, he was thinking whole night I worked, and he was feeling proud. Isn't it? So even in devotional service, we should not be expecting results. We should be just doing our duty and not getting a pat that yes, you have done a good job. Isn't it? That is all for neophyte. As we advance in devotional service, our pat should be satisfaction of Krishna. That is what should be encouraging us more and more. Not, Prabhu, result nahi aa raha hai, nobody is giving money, and then we feel dissatisfied. And when good collection is coming, and then we feel more and more enthusiastic. So we should be able to weed out all this fruitive mentality from our mind. Our idea should be result, no result, I will work hard for Krishna. That should be our desire. I want to please Krishna. My time and my energy I should utilize in the service of the Lord. That should be the idea. So, Prabhupada explains, I will just read one very beautiful thing, that this is possible only when all our activities are guided by spiritual master. Otherwise it is very difficult to distinguish between material activities and spiritual activities. We will be doing something whimsical, and then we will think Krishna has accepted my activity. Correct? It's possible. Somebody may do his own way of devotional service, and he will think, no, Prabhupada is pleased by that. Prabhupada says, no, that is not the way. Not you do something whimsical and offer the result to Krishna and say Krishna has accepted. That is not the way of doing devotional service. Devotional service is done under authorization. So very interesting one talk is there. So I'll just read that, and after that we will stop. Our duty is to dovetail our acts with Krishna's desire. Our duty is to dovetail our acts, our activities with Krishna's desire. Not to manufacture an action and then declare, I am doing this action in Krishna consciousness. Not to manufacture an action and then declare. That means, without authorization, we manufacture one action and then we declare, I am doing this for Krishna. Prabhupada is saying that is not devotional service. We have to be very careful to ascertain whether Krishna actually wants it. What we are doing for Krishna, whether Krishna actually wants it. We have to be very careful. Such authorized knowledge is instructed by the representative of Krishna. And that is why Prabhupada says the spiritual master is called transparent via media. Transparent via media. What you want to please Krishna, you cannot do it directly. It has to be through via media, transparent via media. So Prabhupada is explaining what does it mean. For example, I can see the letters of this book very nicely through these transparent eyeglasses, without which I cannot see because my eyes are defective. Say for example, your eyes are defective. Your eyes are defective, then good transparent glasses are given and then you can see very nicely everything. What happens if you remove those transparent glasses? You cannot see because your eyes are defective. So Prabhupada is giving this example. Prabhupada is saying, I can see the letters of this book very nicely through these transparent eyeglasses, without which I cannot see because my eyes are defective. Similarly, our senses are all defective. We cannot see God with these eyes. We cannot hear Hare Krishna with these ears. We cannot do anything without via media of the spiritual master. You cannot hear Hare Krishna with these ears. You cannot see the deities with these eyes. But if you put the transparent via media, the same defective eyes can see Krishna. The same defective ears can hear Hare Krishna. This is what Prabhupada is saying. Everything becomes possible by via media. Just as defective eyes cannot see without the via medium of spectacle, so one cannot approach the Supreme Lord without the transparent via medium of the spiritual master. Transparent means the via medium must be free of contamination. It is transparent, one can see through it. See? That is the meaning of spiritual master. No contamination. Then it is possible to become via media. Otherwise it is not possible. So we will stop with this. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.